Yeah, after I told you I was the one to violate the thing.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Mr. City Manager, how are you doing?
We're doing great. How about yourself?
Good morning, sir. Thank you, sir. So we're here today in beautiful DeBarry to talk about our first CompStat of the meeting and first CompStat meeting of the year. And Captain Israel, if you want to talk about last year first and get into it, and then we'll get into this year.
Last year, looking at our stats here, as far as total persons crimes, clearance rates 87%, a little over 87%. Property crime 50%. Total of 77.94% clearance rate last year. Looking at what we have for this year so far, we've done better with our clearance rate on persons crimes, 95% clearance rate. Slight increase on property crime, 60%, with a total of 81% clearance rate so far for this year. So again, we're on track as far as improvement.
Very good.
I'm gonna discuss traffic stats real quick. For the month of January, we've had an increase in presence, traffic stops out on 1792 and everywhere else in DeBarry. Increased 35%, citations increased 67%, written warnings increased 37%. As far as you look at stats for our active step zones, there are no current active step zones right now. The ones that we had active are complete.
You want to explain what a step zone is?
Where's Sergeant Barnes?
He's hiding in the back. He knew you were going to call him.
Explain step for me, please, sir.
Let me get you a microphone. Use the mic.
Actually, you just come right up to the table, Sarge. Come on up to the. You don't have to sit in the back with the little kids.
Brian, he was talking about you.
Yeah.
I would rather not talk, but. All right. Hello. Sergeant Barnes, the motor traffic supervisor for District 6. So the STEP program is basically whenever we get traffic complaints, we try to focus our efforts in those areas to try and really prevent traffic crashes. That's really what the main focus is. And if there needs to be any type of signage or anything, we can present those numbers to the traffic engineering, and then they can do their study. And if they determine there needs to be some sort of signage, they can implement that.
Very good, thank you.
Don't go away.
Yeah, stay right there. Moving in with traffic crash reports. We've had a decrease in traffic crashes, and that's due to the efforts of the motors and patrol being out there enforcing traffic on 1792 and around the areas. Felony arrests are down 16%. Misdemeanor arrests are up 3%. So I would say we're doing pretty good with the traffic enforcement, addressing issues and concerns. Again, as far as the traffic crash report being down, we had, unfortunately, a THI about a month and a half ago, and that was indicative of the traffic coming through DeBarry. So good job, Sergeant Barnes and his team. I want to highlight a specific case. There was a fleeing case that I'm going to ask Sergeant Barnes to talk about.
So again, the majority of our crashes are on South Charles R. Beale, so we try to really focus our traffic enforcement in that area. On this particular day, I was enforcing traffic. A vehicle came in, speed limit's 40, they were doing right around 64, 65. Attempted to pull them over, they fled. The information was relayed over the radio. Orange City picked it up, same thing, tried to light them up, they fled. They ended up getting onto I-4. One of the sergeants was able to ID the driver as he passed, and they went back into Seminole County. So with that information, we put it into our tag reader. The next day, the vehicle ended up hitting one of the tag readers in District 2. Again, they lit it up, it fled. They were able to successfully stop the vehicle and get the guy into custody. So he went to jail on numerous fleeing and felony charges.
Good job, Sergeant.
Good job. I'm going to move into crime. So for this period being the month of January, DV-related incidents, we had a total of 16, and 16 of them were cleared, CBA, cleared by arrest. Out of those DV-related incidents, one was an ag battery or ag assault, and one was a robbery. The robbery became a robbery when the defendant took a phone from the victim. prevent them from calling 911. All of those have been cleared, CBA, so good job on patrol with that. Moving into stalking, 28 Coronado Road, we have 2 incidents that happened, one on the 24th of January and one on the 27th of January. And basically, in a nutshell, this defendant was preying on family, making them feel very uncomfortable. We addressed him one time. He was taken into custody after evidence was provided of his activity. Once he was released, we were serving him paperwork, and simultaneously we discovered another event that happened by his acts. He's currently secured, he's being held secure, and he should be there for a while. But that's CB8. Moving on to page 5, fraud, 828 Water Ridge. So this victim here was befriended by a Facebook personality who posed as a military general. And over a 7-month period, he befriended her, convinced her to purchase $31,000 worth of gift cards and send it to him. This was TOT to CID.
So this lady took the conversation off the Facebook into her phone, and like the captain said, over several months, she communicated with somebody and gave him several gift cards. Unfortunately, she had deleted all the conversations. She had no records of any gift card that she had sent him, so there was nothing we can do in this case. It's unfortunate, but we can only do so much with what we get. In this case, we weren't able to help her.
I don't know why they would delete all their records. This doesn't make sense.
She was probably instructed. How old was she? Was she elderly?
She's born in 41, so she's pretty
She's our old, this 30-day period, the dates of birth range from 41 to 57, 1941, 1957. So we had probably had, what, about 15 cases or more this 30-day period?
Yeah, I'd say more throughout the county. Yeah, I'd say more.
Throughout the county.
And we keep getting them almost every day. We got one yesterday from DeBerry, and it was a tip that came from the Secret Service. So we went and talked to him. He said, yes, I've been a victim. So he was out about $28,000. So
Now, he doesn't call us, keep in mind. The Secret Service, who's monitoring stuff, alerts us, because I think it's the second or third time we've had that recently, where they've called us. One of the interesting things that we're doing, and Julian deserves all the credit, and his squad deserves all the credit, is most people focus on who the doer is. Let's go after that person. Normally that person's overseas, you're never going to arrest them. They're focusing on the assets. If there's a way to seize that asset, they do. And as a result, they've recovered how many millions of dollars since you guys started doing this?
1.1 million since we started the financial crimes unit.
So while you're not, in every case, you can't make an arrest, because in some cases they identify the persons in Nigeria. They know who they are, by Facebook. They know who they are, but you're never going to be able to arrest them. Now, we are going to have we're going to set I hope we're going to set the world on fire, or the county on fire a little bit, because on February 19th, we're bringing back a piece of shit. Am I allowed to say shit? From the Bronx, who's part of a major fraud ring, who defrauded one of our elderly residents in Ponce Inlet. They did a great job tracking the money down. We were able to get this victim her money back and get a warrant, and we're bringing her ass back here at 6 o'clock at night. So, God willing, we're all going to be there with the victim standing down at the bottom of the golden staircase when she comes down for the ride for what she did. So, you know, they're doing everything humanly possible they can. I don't think there's too many other organizations that are doing what they're doing. But again, no matter how much they go out and do, whether it's retirement homes, HOAs, renting out movie theaters, the next day you get 5 of them. I don't know how you stop it. Did I miss anything?
No, I mean, we try hard. I mean, it seems like every week we have at least 2 of them. And people are reaching out to us now because they hear it through word of mouth, and they contact Direct to Quan, they contact the sheriff directly, and he comes down to us, and we're more than happy to do it, just to try to prevent it from happening. That's the best way to combat this is education.
I wish other cities would just jump on board with them, but they don't. And that's normally what happens is they'll go do a presentation and somebody say, well, hey, I got hit for $50,000 and nobody's doing anything, and they'll be, well, we'll take a look at it, but it's not our job. We'll see what we can do for you.
Right.
But we wish they would expand our task force, just throw one fraud person at us, and we could do a hell of a lot more damage than we're doing with just the four of them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, we can put out some, if you want to do some public announcements
Absolutely.
on the crowd, on your unit there, we'd be glad to make it more public so that when folks have a specific situation, they know who to call and when to call. So.
I mean, I know if you feed them, they come. I don't know if you just want to do a pizza night, and we'll do a. I was just say pizza and beer, but I don't know if you're allowed to drink beer in City Hall. But we'll put together a presentation again if you want to advertise it and put the word out there again and see how important it is.
Well, and even just on our website or even on Facebook posts, just for the residents to use as a resource that if there does happen, this is where you need to call.
We'll take it.
Okay.
Take it.
Sheriff, I discovered zero beer.
Zero beer.
Zero
Is that
beer.
what it is?
Yeah, yes. Non-alcoholic, but has a taste. Yeah.
Well, you already got
Which is
the
happy.
chief said you already got the pizza.
Cool. Moving on to motor theft. So this case here highlights situational awareness. It highlights technology, and it highlights relentlessness with District 6 personnel, and then my workhorse here, Lieutenant Tucker. So Rob Sullivan's park was the location of this incident. A city worker stopped to use the restroom, and when he came back, the vehicle was taken. Quickly, once it was reported, we got on technology, looked at some surveillance video. While doing this, a deputy heard about this incident and remembered that, based on a description that was given out from the video, that they stopped this individual nights before and FI'd them. So putting that together, we had somewhat of an idea of who this person was by name. Technology gave us a location of where the vehicle was last seen. Lieutenant Tucker took the initiative, and this falls in line with the relentlessness of going to that location and just so happened to see the suspect in the area of the vehicle. So with the help of our partners over in Seminole County, made contact with him, got a confession, he was taken into custody. So this was a good job, and I would say this happened over a period of maybe an hour and a half from start to finish. You got anything to add? No. Cool.
Man, tell Katie about that.
So that case was CBA, cleared by arrest. The next case here is a shoplifting from Walmart. This was CBA. Shoplifting of notes, this was turned over to CID as Ace Hardware. Suspect went into Ace Hardware and stole some drills and batteries to the tune of $800. This was TOT to CID.
This gentleman here, I use that term loosely, he's a prolific shoplifter. He has been in prison many times. His criminal record is horrendous. He's got 39 felony charges, 19 convictions. He's got 26 misdemeanors, 9 convictions. Typically, that's what he does. He goes into stores, steals stuff, and then walks out. We were able to ID him from facial recognition. The vehicle he was driving was identified to his girlfriend. Since yesterday, we found out that FTLE has been investigating this. They have several other cases throughout Florida that he's been part of. They asked if they would take the case, and that's what we're doing. This is going to be prosecuted through the statewide prosecution.
Very good.
Moving on with a theft in Orange City, 2290 Hamilton Avenue. The victim here purchased a set of rims from the suspect or defendant for the tune of $4,200. Over a period of time, the defendant decided he wanted to repossess the rims, stating that he wasn't paid the complete amount of money. He did admit to taking it. This was filed with the state attorney's office because of the civilness that's involved with this. The next theft is going to be Terrapin. This was theft of 6 brass fittings at the intersection of this location. Right now we have no leads, no other incidents in the area. This is still a patrol. And last but not least will be theft from motor vehicle car brakes that we had at 303 Lakeshore Drive, DeBerry. This was tied into a couple of car brakes that happened over in Deltona. This was TOT to CID.
This is a really good job.
So we had 3 in DeBerry, 325 Lake Crescent, 346 Lake Crescent, and 303 Lakeshore Drive. The same morning, there was 4 in the city of Deltona. Suspect was a male individual, was seen on one video surveillance, checking on doors. So all the cars were unlocked. The following day, the victim remembered that she had a tracking device in one of her key fobs, and she gave us an address where the last time it pinged. So we went to the residence. We saw a vehicle that was parked in there. We were able to get the tag number on that vehicle. We used our technology and saw that that vehicle was in the area for about 450 feet from one of the victim's residence. It was captured on a license plate reader. At that point, I think we had enough to get a search warrant for the residence, which we did. In one of the car breaks in the city of Deltona, they had stolen a handgun, a wallet, a purse. Once we executed the search warrant, we found the stolen gun, the wallet from one of the victims. The gentleman fled. When we got there, our patrol guys were able to track him down at the entrance of the subdivision. We arrested him. He was a multi-felony. Let me see, he's got 13 felony charges, 3 convictions. He just got released from prison about 7 months prior to that. So he went to jail. He was charged with armed burglary, possession of firearm by convicted felon, grand theft firearm, and multi other charges. He'll be prosecuted under what it's called prior release reoffender, with a mandatory sentence, typically 25 years. So I'm hoping that he'll go away for a while.
You guys did a good job with that. Very good job with that. And clearly he missed prison life, so he just decided it was time to go back.
Apparently.
Thank God for technology. That key fob was what really broke that.
Yep.
Just real quick, you want to touch on what the clearance rate means and what the national average is and what our average is here in DeBarry?
You want to touch on that, Lieutenant?
Cameron will definitely touch on that.
He can break it down very nicely.
Touching on the national average for persons crime and property crime here, you're looking at somewhere around maybe 15 to 30% for your property crimes, and your persons crimes is somewhere in the high upper 30% to low 40%. In 2023, we switched from our old classification system for uniform crime reporting, which was a hierarchy system which had only 10 classifications for offenses. We now follow the Florida Fibers and NIBRS, the incident-based reporting system, as established by the federal government. It now has over 27 different crime classifications, and within that, you're changing using the hierarchy. So an example I gave during last year's presentation was if you had a event where someone left their garage door open and their car was parked inside, and you had an offender come into the house through the open garage. They went into the car, they stole a purse, then they stole a credit card, and they used the credit card. We previously would have worked those types of crimes and charged it accordingly. However, the only thing that would reflect was a single burglary, because it was the highest offense in the series of crimes that they committed. Now we're having to record the data for each event that occurred, and it changes what historically here in DeBarry would have been. So if I go back to 2022 and 2023, you would have had for a quarter to halfway through the year, you would have had 70 total crimes. Now we have, in that same period, we have about 112. So there's not any more crime that's occurring. It just looks different on paper, and this is actually a far more accurate way to account for every specific crime that they did, and it gives credit for the work that's being done, which is better for us because there was a lot of work that went into these cases, but it only showcased the one hierarchy crime. So hopefully that answers everything for everybody.
But the clearance rate The national average, we're like,
double if not triple in some.
actually, the whole county, but in the Barry, so, you know, you commit a crime, the odds of getting caught are pretty damn good.
Yes. Like we mentioned before, you know, we're at 77.6% for all of 2024. Looking at some of the other agencies that have locally that have shared some numbers with us, they're more like 34%, 40% for their total clearances. So you're adding your persons and your property crimes. I mean, to be at 50% for property crimes and 86 to 90% for persons crimes, it's almost unheard of. It's a very big accomplishment for us, and it's a testament to the technology and the resources and personnel that the sheriff has invested in, and equally the city investing in the technology that we have professed would be great for us. And you guys have turned around and bought it, investing in us and in the job that we do, and it's paying dividends.
Just last night was what I'll call a very good night. It was I don't want to use the Q word because I'll get in trouble for it, but it was a quiet night. So Ben had his troops directed in the 62 zone, which is all the Vista streets, and they wound up running a traffic operation. They grabbed like 4 people, 3 for DWLS and 1 with no driver's license. So that was just a typical night, not a lot going on. Let's get the troops together. Where we got a problem spot, go in and do it. And they do that all the time. That people really don't see or hear about that, but until we get to talk to you folks about it. So, Paul, I know that the Vice Mayor is really excited to hear about our visitor from Binghamton, New York.
So a couple days ago, we had a suspect come down here from Bingham, New York, who committed a double homicide up there. And I was actually on vacation, and Lieutenant King
We'll get to the
actually handled
lieutenant.
whole thing.
Video of him after the guy was arrested walking up to the drive-through window and
Yes.
ordering a Big Mac and fries.
Yes. Yes.
That did not happen.
Yeah. So a lot of detective work, a lot of canvassing, a lot of patrol work, and we put out a reward where New York put up 5,000 also, and a bunch of tips came in. And then yesterday afternoon, he was reported at the McDonald's at 4:15 and 92. He was taken into custody with no problem. Detectives wanted to come down from New York to interview him, so we stood by with him at our investigative services section. They came down, he gave a full confession, and then the detectives are helping out with search warrants and all that.
Do we know how he got from Pontoon Park to 92? Did he hitchhike? Did he walk?
On foot from Pontoon, as far as we know, to the Publix in South Woodland, South Deland, and then I believe he got a ride to Daytona.
Everything passes through Daytona.
Yep.
I have to tell you, there's a vortex when you
He
get
wanted
up.
to go to the beach.
When you get, but we just talked about that. Before he went to jail, he wanted to go see the Speedway and the beach. They were the two main things. So, Sarge, what do you got for narcs?
Sheriff, I got some last year's stats I'll go over. Oh, sorry. Last year, overdose deaths are down 25% compared to the year before. Non-fatal related overdoses were down 30%. We executed several residential search warrants along with other operations, which resulted in the recovery of 4 firearms, a little more than a pound of methamphetamine total, more than 2 ounces of cocaine, 8 grams of fentanyl, and a variety of other narcotics. In total value, narcotics recovered and off the streets was over $72,000. So far in 2025, we have started off the year pretty aggressively. We've conducted several late-night operations, trying to identify narcotic users, suppliers, and narcotic areas. These operations have been pretty successful, and they've led to several current and active investigations. And last year also, we conducted several underage alcohol and tobacco operations throughout the city, and we have more plans to do that here in the near future.
Very good. School command? Oh, he wants a microphone. Oh, yeah, I love it.
Hello, everyone. I'm Captain Smith, the Director of Safety and Security for Volusia County Schools and also the Commander of the Youth Services Section for the Sheriff's Office. So currently in the schools, we're doing random screenings, and we're looking to expand that to where every student goes through a metal detector when they come into a secondary schools, middle and high school. So we did a pilot with Evolve. It's probably one of the best metal detector systems that they have. And during that pilot, we did it one at Deltona High School and one at Spruce Creek High School. So when we were at Deltona High School, we had a garbage can out front, and we ended up with a whole bunch of vapes in that garbage can. So obviously it's a strong deterrent on that aspect. And then one of the other interesting things that we recovered was this knife that a kid had on him. So obviously no kid should have a knife like that in school. There's no reason that you would need to have a knife like that. So
See the kid that went around the metal detector?
he's not. Another kid had a vape on him, didn't throw it in the trash can, went around the metal detector, and then fought with one of the school employees when they tried to stop him. So this was actually hidden, and we were able to find it during the course of that. So I think over the next couple of years, you'll see the school system progress to that system to try to prevent, on average, we have 2 firearms that are recovered in our schools a year. And this year we don't have any. We're working very hard to ensure we don't, but obviously things happen. So if we can get those measures in place, that'll be one major thing. Also, we reviewed the FBI's active shooter incidents, and from that, with all our doors being shut and locked, all our gates shut and locked, obviously the next step would be potential threat is open air response, or open air attack, where it's out in the open. So we're going to do training on all of that to ensure that all of our SROs and our SRDs are prepared for any kind of a situation on how to deal with an incident that's not in a small area. So they know how to successfully defeat the threat. We're also going to be moving our threat management over to a compliance team to ensure, so we consistently manage every single threat that comes in on the school side. And one of the things that we noticed is that the documentation's not as tight as it should be. So I think in the next few months, we'll be migrating all of that to a compliance team that can monitor those documents to ensure that everything is going as it's supposed to. We also just filed for a hardening grant, and part of that is access control. So right now the kids go to a door, the door's locked, they can't get into the door, a teacher has to let them in. This will have remote access where you can scan a card, and it'll allow you to get in, and then in the event of an emergency, they can disable that. And then one of the last things is a really great success that we had here a couple days ago. We had we've been working very hard to integrate all of our systems. And at Campbell Middle School, there was a parent fight in front of the school, and the guardian got on the radio and was requesting emergency response. It was an out-of-control fight, and our crime center immediately jumped into action, started looking at the cameras, and within 2 minutes, they had eyes on the scene. The guardian had stopped answering the radio. We couldn't get in contact with them. We have all these units running lights and sirens through, obviously through Daytona, because it's a very busy time right now. And the crime center was able to say, hey, we can see what's going on. There's no danger. He's got everything under control. You can slow the units down. And not only does that protect the people at the school with having the guardian there, but it also protects the larger community when we're sending the resources. So we're really trying to make sure that everybody's integrated together and that we're all on the same page.
Very good. You guys have any questions for him?
No, I don't, not at this time.
Kurt, want to talk about training real quick?
We are getting ready to post our deputy recruit.
Good job, Todd.
So we are looking to, thank you. We are looking to get that posted hopefully in the next week or so, with the class starting in June. So we're looking forward to it.
Very good. Want to talk about the beach a little bit? Since spring break's coming up and they're all going on spring break at the same time?
Yeah. With every passing week, the beach is getting a little bit busier. We're coming out of the winter time, and kind of unofficial kickoff this summer's the Legends Parade down at Ponce Inlet. Always gets a big turnout. That went off last weekend with no issues. We saw big crowds. Our crowds are increasing. Like I said, every week, with every passing week, the weekends are increasing. We were around 3,000 to 4,000 entries over this weekend, which is up from about 2,000 entries from the week prior. That'll go all the way up to 22,000 by early April. We're currently in the planning stages for spring break. Orange, Lake, Seminole, Volusia, all 4 districts are on spring break at the same time. They will all convene on New Smyrna Beach in the Flagler Avenue area. and about south to 27th up to Mary Esther, for those of you guys that are familiar with New Smyrna Beach. So not a good time to go over there if you're wanting to go enjoy some sunshine and relaxing. But we have, race week right now. That's bringing guests to the beach as well. They're trying to enjoy all of Daytona while they're here for the races. We're on the heels of Bike Week. That'll fill up the beach. We'll move straight into spring break. And then we're also preparing for all the events in May, Memorial Day, Mother's Day. Those are all big beach weekends. So it's good. For those that don't know, and if you guys want to help push this, all our county residents can go on Park Volusia, get free parking, even if they don't want to go to the beach. Off-beach parking, all the beachside parking is now paid parking. So make sure they're taking advantage of that. And otherwise, summer's getting ready to kick off.
I have a question.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Chief. So the dogs, a while back I had requested we implement bear traps on the beach. We just cover them up. That didn't go over well with the county. They weren't on board with that. So right now we're trying to mitigate it the best we can.
Carla, juveniles.
Good morning. As the lieutenant stated, we are gearing up for spring break for all the counties coming over. And with spring has sprung, we've started doing curfew checks throughout the county on kids that are on probation in every city. So far, we haven't seen anything, so we're hoping things stay low-key.
It looks like the president's coming for the 500, so that'll add another layer of interest to what we're doing. But I just want to tell you, I think I speak for everybody in this room. For those of you who have passed through the Barry and now hold different ranks, this is a very special place, the sheriff's office, and we are honored to be your police department. So other than that, I will tell you, yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I just want to let you know that we cherish our partnership. We are passionate about making DeBary the safest city, not only in Volusia County, which it already is, in Central Florida, but all of the state of Florida. This partnership is the model for the entire state of Florida, and we have conversations all the time. I get calls all the time about how does this work and how does this, and unfortunately, some cities don't make the move. However, if they just explore a little bit about how well this partnership works, you can make your city the safest city. As we love the deterrence. We love that if you're going to commit a crime in DeBary, about 80% chance you're going to jail. And whatever we can do to make it a little more higher clearance rate, we will. And whatever we can do to make less crime in this city, we will. And I speak for the council as well. We want to make this the safest city in all the state of Florida. And we appreciate everything you do, the technology, the training, the recruiting, and everything else. It's second to none, and we really appreciate all your efforts.
We appreciate those kind words. And for the folks that you guys don't know, anytime a city says, geez, we're thinking about contracting with the sheriff, the city manager, our biggest cheerleader. He's the first one to say, give me that person's number, tell me who to call, and I will share the relationship and the service that we get in there. So he is our biggest cheerleader when it comes to that. I can't thank you enough. But I will share something with you with a couple people in this room. Yesterday we had a staff meeting, and somehow the topic got off to who were the hardest people you ever supervised in here in the organization. So the assistant chief says, that's really easy. Then Deputy Smith and then Deputy Elmazi. They were the two guys that were the toughest to supervise in the place. And look where they ended up now. So nothing changed much. I know. So thank you all very much. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And by the way, happy Valentine's Day to you. Carla, I don't know where you got that dress from, but clearly it was from the thrift shop. That was off the air, right?
Anyway, and so we purchased a tank. Our Memorial Park is a dedication to all our veterans. And
that's what the big blue tarp was.
That's right. And so we had an airplane that we got in the 1990s, and then we had an anchor shortly thereafter, but we didn't have anything for our Army veterans. And so we were been on a mission the last 4 years to honor our Army veterans. And so we went out, and after 4 years, we finally found somebody who would sell us a tank. And so we bought a tank, and that celebration is 10 o'clock on Monday morning, President's Day. And we will honor our U.S. Army veterans that morning. So if you're not doing anything, come on by. We
have it covered.
So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Who's going to get to fire the first shell?
Well, I can't tell you how many offers or requests I had to drive the tank, for sure.
Well, if you could cite it.